Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
It's Mike's Daily Podcast.
The last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. Hello, I'm Mike Matthews, and this is episode
Mike's Daily Podcast
2919 2919. Hi, Mike, how are you? I'm fine. That's right. When people ask you how are you doing on a podcast or the radio or TV or video, don't you know there's no way you can answer them unless it's a Zoom call and you're talking to them face to face. Or maybe you do Teams. Are you one of those cool people that do Teams? Good job there. Or the
Mike's Daily Podcast,
or the Google Chat, or maybe you're doing a Theranos with your therapist. That's exciting.
Mike's
You're learning things
Daily
about yourself.
Podcast.
We're learning things about things in general.
Yeah.
That's what this podcast is about with episode 2919. Coca-Cola pulled its new flavor called Spiced. I had no idea there was something called Spiced. Would I have drank it? No. But dang, it may be a little sample, like when I go to my favorite place that has a myriad of beers from the area. That's one good thing about living in California. There you go, you people on the right that are constantly complaining about California and because you live over there in DC, or maybe you live in one of the middle states or the South, maybe Huntsville, Alabama, which is having some really nice weather these days. They're loving it over there. And perhaps you're living there and you're complaining about Nancy Pelosi. It's always Nancy Pelosi in California and Gavin Newsom. And Gavin Newsom and Nancy Pelosi are related. Not from my research. That's a lie. So stop with that. Then there's this whole thing about, San Francisco, Berkeley, Oakland. It's fallen into the Pacific. It's full of graffiti and it's on fire. Some of it. But you know what? The aforementioned Huntsville, Alabama has that too, has a homeless issue. I know because I watch their TV, the Way 33 or 36 TV ABC affiliate. And I see they got problems. There's problems all over the country, so.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Quit with the bashing of our fine state, California, and our fine cities that are all huddled around the bay. Because we love this bay, even though it kind of stinks sometimes. But, San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley, San Jose, Hayward, Podcastro Valley. It's all awesome. The late, great Basil the Boxer and I walked all around there. And the podcast picture will be from a year ago around Halloween time, because that Halloween decoration stuff is popping up all over the place in Podcastro Valley. It's spooky. And near where I live, everything gets shut down, and I can't even get into my driveway, into my garage with my car, because people are parked in front of my driveway. All right, I'll complain about that, about California, and the high taxes. And, but hey, we're right next to Silicon Valley, right near where Meta is, and Meta does the Facebook, where I'm doing the Facebook Live right now. Because I don't have the thousands and thousands of subscribers in order to go live on YouTube. Sorry. I'm going to keep it secret in my Facebook page, which you can get a link to if you go to mikesdailypodcast.com. But see the cool
show is clean.
The cool podcast picture with the Hollywood theme from the Halloween theme from a year ago. See that at mikesdailypodcast.com. But Spiced got pulled from shelves just after 6 months because apparently neither you nor anyone you know was interested in it. And breaking up can be hard. Mexico beat out China last year for the first time in 2 decades to become America's top trading partner. Last year, Mexico beat out China for the biggest trading partner for America. Let that sink in. Wow. Now, is it true what Trump was saying? Trump was saying, woo! No, maybe. He says some interesting things at his rallies. When he's done campaigning, whether he becomes president or he loses and finally disappears to Mar-a-Lago, whatever it is, we'll still kind of look back and go, we had a politician out there that said some really wacky stuff. And he said he wasn't a politician and he was going to drain the swamp. We may miss it. We may not. We may look back at some of his rallies and go, wow, he said that.
Mike is on it, man.
Go where no man has gone before.
We love it, Mike.
I'm just thinking out into the future. What are we going to think? But he was saying about China sending things to cars, those things, to Mexico, and then Mexico trading those cars from China to America, that kind of thing. And he wants to put the tariffs on everything. The DOJ sued Visa. You heard about that? It is the largest U.S. card network, alleging that it has illegally maintained a monopoly in the debit card market for over a decade.
This is Mike's Podcast Picnic.
And I think about it as I'm sitting here at the picnic, pouring you all some spiced Coke. Oh, it's worth a lot now, being pulled from the shelves. So I grabbed me a bunch and poured you some. Even though I don't have the pouring sound effect right here. Maybe I'll have it right here. If the button I press, that will remind me later to put that in. Okay. Making sausage. All right, so here's the thing. Is they are and I'm thinking about it now, the debit card I have has a Visa on it. The Visa sign, insignia, logo.
I got through that. I got into it.
So they do have a monopoly, don't they? Wow. So the DOJ looking at things like that. Aren't they also looking at the expensive airline tickets? And why do you get charged for this, that, and the other thing when you buy concert tickets? I won't go to a concert now. It's too crazy expensive. Would I love to see Crowded House? Yes. Would I love to see Tay-Tay? No. Am I a Tay-Tay hater like Trump? No. Because the haters gotta hate. What? I can't wait till the Taylor Swift song about Trump. Because everyone that irks
You're
her.
a man. Sometimes you wear stretchy pants.
They get their own personal song when they get Taylor Swift mad. So we'll look out for that song. Might have the word orange in the title. I don't know. Just thinking. She might have something. Now, is she going to release it? Let's say as we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in podCastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica, with all these topicas. Will she release that song while he's in office? If he's in office, will she release that song while he's alive? If he is living for another 20 years? We'll see. But it'll be interesting. I did meet her years ago when she was just starting out Café Anyway. And she was visiting Ventura County. She actually did a little concert for her fans, which there weren't any fans at that point. Very few people knew her. She had a song called Tim McGraw. She was doing the country thing. And I worked for a station that had, as its sister station, a country station, which I actually worked for 11 years and did the Hey Santa Fe Cafe on for over a decade. But she, at that point, when she got popular, I was off that station. But she did come by and do a little private show right by the beach. I wonder if she remembers that. But she...
people get stuck on stupid, you know what I mean?
People do. But a lot of people met her. So I think that was one of the reasons why she got as popular as she's gotten. Because she went around and met a lot of people early on. And sowed the seeds of Taylor Swiftum. But did not in any way make a friend with Trump. Mortgage refinance boom is happening. It's a boom. It's a bang. It's not a bang. It's not a bust yet, but weekly demand surges 20%. The average 30-year fixed rate mortgage decreased to 6%.
MTV News. You hear it first.
If the M means mortgage, that's MTV News for you. If it's mortgage TV, that sounds exciting. So there's a big refinance boom going on. The weekly demand surged 20%, and the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage has decreased to 6.13%. As far as other debt going on, college tuition costs are rising. Housing costs are rising faster. Students fretting about the rising cost of college tuition. Well, the housing costs are actually rising faster. The average cost of a dorm room at a 4-year college rose by 37% in the past 10 years.
Fabagoo. Things to do.
Things to do, like at a dorm. So you can go there and go to college and then go back to your dorm and do kinds of things that you will later look back on as you are old and go, wow, I studied way too late or partied way too hard or shouldn't have dated that person or whatever. Housing and food together costs about $12,770 on average. And the college tuition and fees for a public college is about $11,260. Private college tuition is about $6,000 more than that. Added, then that is
travel into the incredible universe.
Added all up, college is about $35,551 per person per student on average. Some universities charge well over $10,000 a year for student housing. At our local UC Berkeley. Oh, Berkeley's blowing up. It's a sign of left-wing Kamala Harris and how it's just a debacle and it's all crumbling down. So UC Berkeley, they pay, get this, $12,675 a year for a triple. That means one room shared with two other. You're sharing one room with two other people. What? That's some crazy magnifying of that there's no room. What do? You're going to get all kinds of diseases and how are you going to sleep? I shared a room with one other person, but then the complex, well, let's see. It was four people all together, but two people were in one room, two people were in another. And that was just a little too close. I stayed friends with the guy, but that was, I don't know, interesting living situation. But that was, gosh, back in the late 80s, so it's probably gotten worse. At Arizona State.
The Royal Trump tweet decree.
Oh, he's saying probably right now something like, Berkeley's a real cesspool, and no one's got any money, and there's no money going into Berkeley. And it's just going to disappear and dry out and vanish. And if not, I'll make sure it does when I become president. But students still have to pay $12,675 a year for a triple in Berkeley, living with two other people. At Arizona State University, that is a public institution. The annual costs range from $5,000 to $21,492.
The Republicans continue to point to San Francisco, but at the end of the day, oftentimes they are picking up their iPhone, which was introduced in San Francisco,
True.
Calling their Ubers or Lyft, companies started and based in San Francisco, to
True.
go to their Airbnb company still and started in San Francisco,
True.
and then to go and tweet something nasty about our city, which again was a company until recently in San Francisco.
True.
$34 billion of venture capitalist investment last year alone, the AI capital of the world. That's what I will say. You can continue to try and put out a narrative, but the facts tell a different story.
That's right. So should you keep bashing San Francisco? No! It's what she's saying. That's London Breed. She's running for mayor again. This time, it's got some competition. I think it's mostly white guys that are running against her, interestingly. But yes, we'll see how that goes, including the heir to the Levi's fortune. So dorm fees cover not just utilities and maintenance, so there's lots to cover there, and that's how things are with the dorm world and going to college and that. I did not actually live in a quote-unquote dorm until my last 2 years of college. First 2 years commuted and listened to a lot of different bands, and a lot of those bands mutated into other bands, and that was a band's mutation. And do any pop to mind at this point? Oh, Traveling Wilburys. I've been thinking about them lately because George Harrison's fascinating. His fascination with music from India. And that got all the other Beatles going to India. And there's a movie about it, The Beatles in India. Watch that. That's fascinating. And all that influence that was on the Beatles. And then, of course, George Harrison later was in the Traveling Wilburys, which featured members from ELO. Of course, you had Roy Orbison.
Pretty much.
Tom Petty, and Bob Dylan in there pretty much. So what is happening with electric vehicles? This year has not been a good year for it. This year was supposed to be the year that EVs went mainstream, and it is shaping up to be the year of the electric vehicle EV retreat. Sales are up, but not as much as they had been anticipated. And I blame it on the fact they cost too dang much. They cost too much, and this is a election year, and a lot of people on the right are anti-EV.
You know, there's a real scary holiday coming up.
And that holiday is called Halloween. And that's a scary holiday. And then comes the election day. That's even scarier. But it's interesting because Elon Musk, who makes the EVs, is good friends with Trump. Yet that doesn't seem to be helping with the sales. A record 1.2 million EVs were sold in the U.S. last year. That made up 7.6% of the new vehicle market overall, which included gas engines and hybrids and everything else. But EV sales were supposed to grow 42% this year. Instead, people are buying flying saucers. No, instead, people are being abducted by flying saucers. Why did the thing happen? The connection between aliens abducting people? That's been going on forever. Since the 50s anyway, when the movies came out about that showed flying saucers. What the day the Earth stood still and all that stuff. But why did the thing start in connection with aliens and flying saucers with the taking a certain type of probe and putting it, putting it where the sun don't shine? Why did that start is my question to Jarrell Name and anyone else. When did that start? And I know the South Park episode, was it the first or the second episode, really made fun of that. And wasn't there Betty and Barney? That was a case, not the Fred Flintstone one, although I think his friend was named, Barney and his wife Betty may have been named after the couple that apparently one of the first reported, written down official documentation of someone saying they witnessed a flying saucer and being abducted. That's a whole thing. We'd have to ask Hanna-Barbera. But yes, questions. But as far as EV sales,
been announced as a VP nominee. I gave my big speech, and I saw my wife, and I gave her a big hug and a kiss because I love my wife, and I think that's what a normal person does. Tim Walz gave his wife a nice, firm Midwestern handshake, and then tried to sort of awkwardly correct for it. So I think that what it is two people, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, who aren't comfortable in their own skin because they aren't comfortable with their policy positions for the American people, and so they're name calling instead of actually telling the American people how they're going to make their lives better. I think that's weird, Dana, but look, they can call me whatever they want to.
You're saying Tim Walz doesn't have affection for his wife? I don't even understand that.
I said that he acted weird, which he did, on a national stage in front of his wife.
Not that what he just said was weird, or that, it's very confusing. And you know what? He's young and he's going to be with us for a long time. So get used to that weirdness of his logic and all. Okay, so electric vehicle sales were supposed to be 42% this year. Now it looks like it's only about 11% from the previous year. Hybrid vehicle sales are up more than 30%, though, year over year. Hybrid sales doing well. Many car makers were going to be all electric. Magnification. By 2030 or 2035, high interest rates and continued inflation has been keeping the sales of electric vehicles down, and concerns about the EV's higher price tags consists, and then about the battery range and the charging and all of that, and how when those batteries catch fire, look out. All that from Rob Black. I produce his podcast. He is heard on AM 1220 KDOW weekday mornings, and he is on Cron Television Monday through Thursday in the 9 o'clock hour. Outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in PodCastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. Look who's here. Hello, my commercials, Madame Rootabega. All of that was very interesting. Ooh. You're saying all of that was very interesting. Ooh? Yes, Michael Massio. I can't wait to dress up for Halloween. Ooh. What are you going to be? A rabbit. Why? Because it's Halloween. What? No, the rabbit thing is the Easter thing. I want to do a rabbit anyway, Michael Matthew. I can't wait to be a rabbit. Woo. Meanwhile, Rocky's doing better. We went to the vet and they put the thing in his eye and they showed us how to put the thing in his eye to make his eye better. So that's good. Are you pleased to hear that information? Yes. Wow, you turned into half horse, half Madame Rootabega. Do you like turning into other animals? Yes. Do you like magic? No. Yes, magic's annoying. Look who else is here. It's magic.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley.
Mike, we can't wait to invite JD Vance over to the parking lot booth so we can talk to him about all kinds of stuff that really irritates us there.
Yeah, we can't wait to hear his crazy logic. Do you know that? Oh, awesome. Just let me know. I'll stop by and say hi. I want to know how he gets that beard thing going on. Because I use a similar device that keeps my beard short, as you can see if you go to that video through the Facebook, through the link at mikesdailypodcast.com. So I am excited to know, what do you think about all this? Here's the number. I want to know what you think. Here's the phone number is what I'm saying.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And with all things Mike's Daily Podcast, we go to the main frame and hear from A-Frame. Thank you for the listening for the show, listening to it. Ooh, one of the videos, by the way, that I have on the YouTube channel, a link to that at mikesdailypodcast.com as well, had over 1,000 views. Woo! I mean, this is exciting because like 5 is usually what I get, maybe 2. So what happened? It was called Waffles. So I should definitely start naming my shows. Apparently naming the show, because, I do the one-word name, maybe that makes people want to check it out and listen. They maybe listen to 5 seconds of it and go, oh, no, this isn't about waffles. Although I did talk about waffles. And I talked about wallets. So other words that have the WA thing happening. But yes, I will do that. And maybe more people will listen. We'll see. I'll let you know how it goes. But with all things Mike's Daily Podcast, to tell you about that, here's A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.